I recently had an on-location product photo shoot and I knew I wanted to create a different background for this specific client. So I wanted to share the background that I ended up making. This is a foldable, oversized, it's 48 by 36 background that I used for our flat lays of gift boxes for this client's new e-commerce website. And I love the portability and the oversize that I wanted to share how I made this. So first thing is the materials. I found this, it's basically a presentation foam board at my local arts and crafts style store. I'll outline materials down below in the description too in case you need to buy online. But this is essentially how it comes. It's saying it's 20 by 30, but when measured, once these are open, it's 48 by 36 tall, which is great. So this is how it arrives. What's nice is that when I'm traveling on location for a shoot like this is so much easier to travel with than if it was the final size that it is. One area of concern I was unsure about, and I'm so happy it wasn't an issue and it looks great, is at the folding joints. I wasn't sure once I applied this surface if there was going to be an issue with it closing properly, leaving like bad seams, but all in all, it worked out great. So the first thing is the foam. I love how portable this foam is, and I could just get to the location, open this up, and we had this surface. Okay, so what I love to use is peel and stick wallpaper. I've made videos on this in the past when I've made oversized or just the regular standard size foam board, and I use peel and stick. So here are examples of all the different types that I've used. And what I wanted to do for this shoot and why I didn't use any other boards that I've made is we wanted it to be kind of like a light marble, white, kind of nondescript, nothing busy. But I knew my marble that I had was shiny. You can see that in the light. It has a shiny surface to it, which I did not want. You can even see my light right there when it's reflecting. I knew I didn't want that shininess in these shots. It was for, and I'll put some pictures up here too, it was for like air plants, very botanical, white box. We wanted it light and airy, and so we wanted the surface to be matte. So that's why I went back online to find this marble, but in a matte finish, which I found, which I'll link below if you like it too. So many different sizes. I purchased I wrote everything down for you, the 24 by 78 inch roll. But it goes all the way up to 39 by 236 inches. Now, okay, and it comes in so many different sizes. So depending on your project, you may want to get a larger size, but the 24 by 78 inch roll worked out great for this. So on all these peel and stick products, they're really easy to use. They simply have this paper backing, which will have a grid on the back. So when you first lay out the roll of matte marble wallpaper, I first lay it out and get a sense of how long I need it. Then I cut the piece so it's the desired length. And then it may be a little longer, so then I can cut it down versus if it was shorter. So we have the foam board, we have the peel and stick wallpaper that we want for our look. The other materials that you might want are a healing pad, just in case depending on what you're cutting, the surface that you're cutting on. This is essentially a bench scraper. These are pretty cheap too. I found a whole little kit for like $5, so I'll add that into the description if you don't have any of these materials left because then you can always reuse these. But this is a bench scraper. It's great for when you're moving through and you want to make sure there's no bubbles that happen. This is a great guide in just taking your time and moving through the surface. An X-Acto knife is what I use to trim the end off. So I always left a little bit of material and then at the end used my healing pad and just trimmed it so I had a nice clean edge. Okay, so like I mentioned before, I used 2 big pieces. So I rolled out the paper. So if we use this gray, so you can see the contrast, clearly I don't have enough on this one. All right. I'll use this one. I will roll out the length that I need. Then I will cut that down. Then once I have the piece, and I'll show you kind of the time lapse of me doing it, I just peel back maybe 3 inches and I line up that straight line first. And then I'm using the bench scraper to slowly move down the line. So I could use 2 or 1 big piece because I got the 24 by 78. I used 1 big piece and then the remaining I just cut down. So it's essentially 2 pieces at the end here. The seams worked out really nice. And honestly, if there's anything that I see, I mean, I'm using this as a flat lay, so I could position items if there was a spot where I think, oh, I'm going to see that, I could position items there, or it's an easy fix in any like Lightroom or Photoshop to kind of clean up any lines if you do end up making, if there's any little gaps. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. But this was a big success. I'm so excited. You can see for scale how oversized this is. And it worked out great for this project. And if you enjoyed this video on how I made this oversized, if you don't need something as big, I'm going to leave a video here where I made a 24 by 36 oversize that you can bring on location as well for photo shoots. These are always so much fun to make because it's customizing it to your clients, and not every surface out there might be big enough. I like to have a big space, especially for gift boxes. I needed space to like lay things out and not be worried that I was going to see the surface beyond. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you there.